Hey girls, good morning. Happy Thursday. You guys, I made my curds and whey bowl already this morning because I have some things going on today that I had to get it done. Oh my word. It's Ferrero Rocher, however you pronounce that, Ferrero Rocher. Oh my gosh, I only had two bites so far. Oh my goodness. I am so excited to go eat it. I may have to cut halfway off during devotions. I'm just kidding. I won't do that. But it was that good. Oh, I can't wait to eat it. That's all I'm going to be able to think about during circumcision and everything. All right, February 5th. Dedication of the firstborn. Exodus 13, 1 through 16. Then the Lord told Moses, "Dedicate to me every firstborn among the Israelites. The first offspring to be born of both humans and animals belongs to me." So Moses said to the people, "This is the day to remember forever, the day you left Egypt, the place of your slavery. Today the Lord has brought you out by the power of his mighty hand. Remember, eat no food containing yeast. On this day in early spring, in the month of Abib, you have been set free. You must celebrate this event in the month each year after the Lord brings you into the land of the Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites, Hivites, and Jebusites. He swore to your ancestors that he would give you this land, a land flowing with milk and honey. For 7 days, the bread you eat must be made without yeast. Then on the seventh day, celebrate a feast to the Lord. Eat bread without yeast during those 7 days. In fact, there must be no yeast bread or any yeast at all found within the borders of your land during this time. On the seventh day, you must explain to your children, I am celebrating what the Lord did for me when I left Egypt. This annual festival will be a visible sign to you, like the mark branded on your hand or your forehead. Let it remind you always to recite this teaching of the Lord. With a strong hand, the Lord rescued you from Egypt. So observe the decree of this festival at the appointed time each year. This is what you must do when the Lord fulfills the promise he swore to you and to your ancestors. When he gives you the land where the Canaanites now live, you must present all firstborn sons and firstborn male animals to the Lord, for they belong to him. A firstborn donkey may be bought back from the Lord by presenting a lamb or a young goat in its place. But if you do not buy it back, you must break its neck. However, you must buy back every firstborn son. And in the future, your children will ask you, what does all this mean? Then you will tell them, with the power of his mighty hand, the Lord brought us out of Egypt, the place of our slavery. Pharaoh stubbornly refused to let us go. So the Lord killed all the firstborn males throughout the land of Egypt, both people and animals. That is why I now sacrifice all the firstborn males to the Lord, except the firstborn sons are always bought back. This ceremony will be like a mark branded on your hand or your forehead. It is a reminder that the power of the Lord's mighty hand brought us out of Egypt. Israel's wilderness detour, Exodus 13:17 through 14:4. When Pharaoh finally let the people go, God did not lead them along the main road that runs through the Philistine territory, even though that was the shortest route to the promised land. God said, if the people are faced with a battle, they might change their minds and return to Egypt. So God led them in a roundabout way through the wilderness towards the Red Sea. Thus the Israelites left Egypt like an army ready for battle. Moses took the bones of Joseph with him, for Joseph had made the sons of Israel swear to do this. He said, God will certainly come to help you. When he does, you must take my bones with you from this place. The Israelites left Succoth and camped at Etham on the edge of the wilderness. The Lord went ahead of them. He guided them during the day with a pillar of cloud, and he provided a light at night with a pillar of fire. This allowed them to travel by day or by night, and the Lord did not remove the pillar of cloud or the pillar of fire from its place in front of the people. Then the Lord gave these instructions to Moses. Order the Israelites to turn back and camp at Pi-hahiroth between Migdol and the sea. Camp there along the shore, along the Baal Zephon. Then Pharaoh will think, the Israelites are confused. They are trapped in the wilderness, and once again I will harden Pharaoh's heart, and he will chase after you. I've planned this in order to display my glory through Pharaoh and his whole army. After this, the Egyptians will know that I am the Lord. So the Israelites camped there as they were told. The Egyptians pursue Israel. Exodus 14:5-14. When word reached the king of Egypt that the Israelites had fled, Pharaoh and his officials changed their minds. What have we done, letting all those Israel slaves get away? They asked. So Pharaoh harnessed his chariot and called up his troops. He took with him 600 of Egypt's best chariots, along with the rest of the chariots of Egypt, each with its commander. The Lord hardened the heart of Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, so he chased after the people of Israel, who had left with fists raised in defiance. The Egyptians chased them with all the forces in Pharaoh's army, all his horses and chariots, his charioteers, and his troops. The Egyptians caught up with the people of Israel as they were camped beside the shore at Pi-hahiroth, across from Baal-zephon. As Pharaoh approached, the people of Israel looked up and panicked when they saw the Egyptians overtaking them. They cried out to the Lord, and they said to Moses, "Why do you bring us out here to die in the wilderness? Weren't there enough graves for us in Egypt? What have you done to us? Why did you make us leave Egypt? Didn't we tell you this would happen while you were still in Egypt? We said, 'Leave us alone. Let us be slaves to the Egyptians. It is better to be a slave in Egypt than a corpse in the wilderness.'" But Moses told the people, "Don't be afraid. Just stand still and watch the Lord rescue you today. The Egyptians you see today will never be seen again. The Lord himself will fight for you." Escape through the Red Sea, Exodus 14:15-31. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Why are you crying out to me? Tell the people to get moving. Pick up your staff and raise your hand over the sea. Divide the water so the Israelites can walk through the middle of the sea on dry ground, and I will harden the hearts of the Egyptians, and they will charge in after the Israelites. My great glory will be displayed through Pharaoh and his troops, his chariots and his charioteers. When my glory is displayed through them, all of Egypt will see my glory and know that I am the Lord." Then the angel of God, who had been leading the people of Israel, moved to the rear of the camp. The pillar of cloud also moved from the front and stood behind them. The cloud settled between the Egyptian and Israelite camps. As darkness fell, the cloud turned to fire, lighting up the night. But the Egyptians and Israelites did not approach each other all night. Then Moses raised his hand over the sea, and the Lord opened up a path through the water with a strong east wind. Then the wind blew all that night, turning the seabed into dry land. So the people of Israel walked through the middle of the sea on dry ground, with walls of water on each side. Then the Egyptians, all of Pharaoh's horses, chariots, and charioteers, chased them into the middle of the sea. But just before dawn, the Lord looked down on the Egyptian army, from the pillar of fire and cloud, and he threw the forces into total confusion. He twisted their chariot wheels, making their chariots difficult to drive. "Let's get out of here, away from these Israelites," the Egyptians shouted. "The Lord is fighting for them against Egypt." When all the Israelites had reached the other side, the Lord said to Moses, "Raise your hand over the sea again. Then the water will rush back and cover the Egyptians and their chariots and charioteers." So as the sun began to rise, Moses raised his hand over the sea, and the water rushed back into its usual place. The Egyptians tried to escape, but the Lord swept them into the sea. Then the waters returned and covered all the chariots and charioteers, the entire army of Pharaoh. Of all the Egyptians who had chased the Israelites into the sea, not a single one survived. But the people of Israel had walked through the middle of the sea on dry ground, just as the water stood up like a wall on both sides. That is how the Lord rescued Israel from the land of the Egyptians that day. And the Israelites saw the bodies of the Egyptians washed up on the seashore. When the people of Israel saw the mighty power that the Lord had unleashed against the Egyptians, they were filled with awe before him. They put their faith in the Lord and in his servant, Moses. A song of deliverance, Exodus 15:1-21. Then Moses and the people of Israel sang this song to the Lord. "I will sing to the Lord, for he has triumphed gloriously. He has hurled both horse and rider into the sea. The Lord is my strength and my song. He has given me victory. This is my God, and I will praise him. My father's God, and I will exalt him. The Lord is a warrior. Yahweh is his name. Pharaoh's chariots and army he has hurled into the sea. The finest of Pharaoh's officers are drowned in the Red Sea. The deep waters gushed over them. They sank at the bottom like a stone. Your right hand, O Lord, is glorious in power. Your right hand, O Lord, smashes the enemy. In the greatness of your majesty, you overthrow those who rise against you. You unleash your blazing fury. It consumes them like straw. At the blast of your breath, the waters piled up. The surging waters stood straight like a wall. In the heart of the sea, the deep waters became hard. The enemy boasted, I will chase them and catch up with them. I will plunder them and consume them. I will flash my sword. My powerful hand will destroy them. But you blew with your breath, and the sea covered them. They sank like lead in the mighty waters. Who is like you among the gods, O Lord? Glorious in holiness, awesome in splendor, performing great wonders. You raised your right hand, and the earth swallowed our enemies. With your unfailing love, you lead the people you have redeemed. In your might, you guide them to your sacred home. The people hear and tremble. Anguish grips those who live in Philistia. The leaders of Edom are terrified. The nobles of Moab tremble. All who live in Canaan melt away. Terror and dread fall upon them. The power of your arm makes them lifeless as stone until your people pass by, O Lord. Until the people you purchase pass by. You will bring them in and plant them on your own mountain, the place, O Lord, reserved for your own dwelling, the sanctuary, O Lord, that your hands have established. The Lord will reign forever and ever. When Pharaoh's horses, chariots, and charioteers rushed into the sea, the Lord brought the water crashing down on them. But the people of Israel had walked through the middle of the sea on dry ground. Then Miriam, the prophet, Aaron's sister, took a tambourine and led all the women as they played their tambourines and danced. And Miriam sang the song, Sing to the Lord, for he has triumphed gloriously. He has hurled both horse and rider into the sea. Bitter water at Marah, Exodus 15:22 through 27. Then Moses led the people of Israel away from the Red Sea, and they moved out into the desert of Shur. They traveled in this desert for 3 days without finding any water. When they came to the oasis of Marah, the water was too bitter to drink. So they called the place Marah, which means bitter. Then the people commanded and turned against Moses. What are we going to drink? They demanded. So Moses cried out to the Lord for help, and the Lord showed him a piece of wood. Moses threw it into the water, and this made the water good to drink. It was there at Marah that the Lord set before them the following decree as a standard to test their faithfulness to him. He said, If you will listen carefully to the voice of the Lord your God and do what is right in his sight, obeying his commands and keeping all of his decrees, then I will not make you suffer any of the diseases I sent on the Egyptians, for I am the Lord who heals you. After leaving Marah, the Israelites traveled on to the oasis of Elim, where they found 12 springs and 70 palm trees. They camped there beside the water. All right. We are on page 169 of our book, starting the chapter called Welcoming Revival. My husband always says, questions mean you care. We say it a lot in the context of our church. If you have questions about something we've done or something we're going to do or say, it's so much more helpful to ask a question than to make an assumption. A question is a loving act that demonstrates your investment. For us, questions aren't about mistrust or doubt. They're about honest engagement and creating a solid foundation from which to grow. This is partially why I've asked you so many in-depth and soul-bearing questions in the previous chapters. Let's revisit a few of those, a quick grace hits tour, if you will. What have you been told about your body and the source of its worth? What does it look like for the kingdom to come in your body today? Do you feel like you've been trying to beat the curse as it pertains to your body? What's the truest thing about you? Why do you want healing and restoration in your body? If you've answered these questions, I pray it hasn't been with note responses, but rather an exploration that has led you to see yourself, God, and the world more clearly. If you've answered these questions, I pray they've left you not just exposed, but expectant. I pray these questions have sparked growth and change in your soul. I pray they've produced godly fruits that last. Good questions clue us into where we're at and give us insight about where we think we're going. When I coach women, in mission or in business or in anything else, I often start with 3 questions. How are you feeling today? How willing are you to grow and change? What will happen if you don't experience growth in this area? This feels like pertinent and productive place for us to pause and ask those questions regarding our body image. In addition, I've got one more important question for us to dig into. When I first started writing this book, I sent a quick survey to a few friends around the world. I asked them about varying views regarding their bodies, their experiences, their pain points, and their hopes. But I ended the survey with one question whose answer feels most important. On a scale of 1 to 5, how likely is it that our generation could experience breakthrough in the stronghold of negative body image? I'm delighted to tell you that 70% of my friends answered a 5, very hopeful, and 30% answered 4. How we answer this question doesn't just unveil something important about our hearts. How we answer this question also points to how we'll live out the truth that our bodies are good. This is worth mulling over. If we don't believe we can experience healing collectively, we won't move forward in trying to be healed. Okay. All right, let me just scroll back through the chat, see if I missed anything. That's awesome, Mary. I'm glad you've been here. Oh, were you sick, Pam? All right, girls. Well, let's go ahead and pray because in a few minutes I need to go live over in the Strong Enough to Move group to have a little conversation about some movement. I was supposed to go at 9, and then honestly, I thought it was 9:30. And then when I realized I had said I'd go live at 9, it was too late to get there by 9 and still get devotions done. So I had to move it till 9:30. But I'll be going live over in that group on Circle in a little bit, right around 9:30. Give a little word of encouragement. All right, girls, let's go ahead and pray. God, our Father, we thank you for this day. Thank you for our time together. Thank you for the reading of your word. Thank you that we have the word to read and to learn about you and draw closer to you. God, I thank you for each and every woman here and lift them all up to you today. I know that there are many struggles. I pray for Pam and whatever she's going through with illness. I just pray for your strength and healing for her, God. I also pray for my friend Cindy not feeling well, that you would heal her and strengthen her today as she tries to go back to work with little strength. I just ask for your healing for her. I know there are many with heavy things on their heart, God, and I just ask for your strength and your mercy and your peace today as we go through this day. In your precious name, amen. All right, dearies. I love you all. Thanks for being here. I'll see you all soon. If you're in the Strong Enough to Move group, head on over there around 9:30 and I'll go live in the group and we'll just have a conversation and two-way conversation. If you have questions, I'll be there to answer them. All right. I love you guys. Have a great